Sims. Hello, I'm Sarah Sims, nutrition educator with Southern University Ag Center SNAP Ed program, and my parishes are Madison and Richland Parish. Welcome to our series today on fall food preservation. As you know, we're fortunate. We can grow vegetables year-round, and we have an abundance of fresh fruits that's native to our state all summer and early on into the early fall. So seasonal food preservation is always in session. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, fall is again right around the corner, or it is fall. And with seasonal changes also come changes to what is grown and harvested in the garden and what's available at the farmer's market and the grocery stores. In Louisiana, there is always plenty of opportunities for seasonal green vegetables. Some of the more popular green leafy vegetables are Swiss chard, collards, spinach, mustard, turnips, mustards, and lettuces. Other leafy crops of great value grown are cabbage and Chinese cabbage. Kale and collards will tolerate a bit of cold weather more so than some of the tender greens. And after the cold weather, they develop a wonderful sweet flavor that everybody always longed for. Be sure the kale in your garden is edible, it's the edible kind and not the ornamental kind. Preserve extra vegetables like spinach, collards, kale, and other greens by freezing, pressure canning, or drying. Greens are an excellent source of vitamin A, calcium, folic acid, and fiber. Your greens may be frozen or canned for long storage. When preserving greens, try mixing the varieties together. Preferable ways for storing your greens or preserving greens, which is a favorite for most people, just a tally, overall tally. Freezing is one of the easiest ways to preserve your vegetables for the winter. And almost all vegetables are suitable for freezing, with the exception of cabbage and potatoes. Now, to freeze your vegetables, you need to select young tender greens with good color and no blemishes. Remove the soil and grit by rinsing several times under cold running water. You can cut or tear the large leaves to a desired size, and if the leaves are small, you can freeze them whole. Most vegetables will need to be blanched, which involves boiling them for a set amount of time in water, usually 1 to 3 minutes. Blanching stops the development of enzyme, preserving color, flavor, and nutrients. And then you pack them in a plastic container and freeze them. Preserving your vegetables will extend the harvest, and you will enjoy the rewards of your labor throughout the year, on into the spring. Now, your spinach, kale, Swiss chard, beet greens, along with your mustard, turnips, and other greens, they freeze well, and they will last for you to enjoy throughout the season. Again, I can't say enough about blanching. It's very, very important. But remember, when you blanch your greens, you want to blanch them in small amounts, not a whole bunch, small amounts. Steam blanching of your greens is not recommended because the leaves will stick together and they will not blanch properly. For collard greens, you need to blanch them for 3 minutes. Other greens, blanch them for 2 minutes. Very tender spinach, blanch them for 90 seconds. Cool the greens in ice water after blanching for the same amount of time as blanching. You want to drain them well, pack in a freezer container, label and date the contents, and store in the freezer for 8 to 12 months. Canning your fall vegetables or your food products, be sure to start with tested recipes. Choose recipes that are reliable from a reliable source. And before you begin canning, examine all the equipment you plan to use and be sure it is in good working condition. Follow the directions provided by your reliable sources and for safe handling, cleaning, and processing. Some vegetables must be pressure canned and some can be pickled. Now, vegetables like your broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts are not suitable for pressure canning. They get mushy, mushy, mushy. Shredded cabbage is an ingredient in several pickle products, such as your hot dog relishes. Cauliflower, carrots, and Brussels sprouts can be pickled by themselves or combined with other vegetables for an end of the season garden relish, which is very, very good. Now, the vinegar in the relishes and pickled vegetables allow these low acid foods to be processed in a boiling water bath safely. And remember, use a research-based tested recipe for the best results. Storage is very, very important. You want to be sure to store your vegetables in a cool, clean location, and it will keep up to 12 months longer. Vegetables suited for storage just out in it without any canning or freezing will be your winter squash, your pumpkins, your potatoes, and your dry onions. Cool climate root crops like, well, they can stay in the ground for several months. Just cover them with straw and mulch. Now, another important thing is emergency preparedness. You want to be sure to preserve food is a great way to have nutritious food on hand all the time. Always label your food products and keep them on hand because you never know when there's an emergency, when you may have a power outage. So, and if you got food on hand, you'll have something to share with your family. Get your family members involved in planning and preparing for emergency. It can be really fun and it'll teach them the value of preparing their own foods, and they will take these skills into their adulthood to help them feed and care for their families. While we enjoy the convenience of today, we can certainly look to the old ways of living for a healthy, happy tomorrow. Growing up, I used to help my mother in our garden. We had a garden beside our house. She would let me work along beside her in the garden. I had simple chores to do weekly. I really enjoyed working with her, and I appreciate the valuable lessons she taught me about how to work hard at an early age. She also preserved the spring, summer, and fall harvest each year by canning, freezing, pickling, and dehydrating what we didn't eat. I learned in my youth how to make meals from scratch and stretch the food dollar by growing and preserving from the garden, which proved invaluable to my own family. Back to basics, I can't say enough about that. The fast food and packaged meals are readily available to keep our help us keep our very busy schedules for ourselves and our family. Now, we do not have to worry about food preparation, but we should. And as a result, our health has deteriorated and very, very high. Food preservation is an important life skill. By preparing for situations and not wasting food, you do not have to depend on grocery stores for meals or wonder where your meals are going to come from. So going back to basics can prove to be beneficial for your family or any family or of any size. So teach the children and teens the basic skills so they can take care of themselves when they are ready to go out on their own. A few sessions ago, we discussed food preservation. We've discussed it at different lengths, and we have other discussions on it for you later on. But in doing so, remember, for fall crops, you can preserve your produce. By preserving again and storing your vegetables, you will enjoy the fresh vegetables and save money and enjoy the rewards of your labor throughout the winter months on into the spring and maybe even further. So fall gardens are planted and they're getting ready to be harvested. My challenge to you, after learning more about freezing fall vegetables, I challenge you to start freezing your own vegetables. Try making a meal out of the previously frozen vegetables and let us know what you think about it. Thank you for joining us today for our session on fall food preservation. For further information on food preservation, please contact us at www.suagnutrition.com. We thank you for your attendance today, and please let us hear from you. We have a survey at the end of this presentation. Please complete it for us. It's very, very important to us to hear from you. And by all means, you can always contact us at the Ag Center. Again, I am Sarah Sims, nutrition educator, Southern University Ag Center Nutrition Program, and we do appreciate you. Have a blessed day.